And this is a live look over Lower Manhattan, where the reading of the names of the lives lost on 9/11 23 years ago goes on. Good afternoon, I'm Ann Nyberg. Cities across the state are holding memorial services to honor the lives lost. One of those ceremonies held by the Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection this morning. News 8's Brittany Taylor was there and has more on how those who made the sacrifice are being remembered.
A somber day at the Connecticut Fire Academy, flags at half staff, while a wreath is placed near a piece of the World Trade Center from 23 years ago.
23 years later, we gather again to remember those who lost their lives, those first responders who lost their lives, responding to and help us recover from our nation's worst disaster.
September 11th, 2001, one of the darkest days in America, with 4 flights hijacked by terrorists, crashing first into the Twin Towers in New York City, then the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., and finally into the ground in Shanksville, Pennsylvania. While most ran out of buildings to save their lives, first responders like New York City firefighter Chris Blackwell selflessly ran in.
He was getting off shift that morning, and as so many other firefighters, when they saw what was happening, he just hopped on a truck, and unfortunately they never found his remains.
Like Blackwell, nearly 3,000 people died that day, including over 400 emergency workers, many of whom were Connecticut firefighters, their names listed on this tribute. It's that ultimate sacrifice that firefighters like Chris Blackwell made that day that have inspired young recruits to follow in their footsteps.
Left, right, left.
Realizing the depths and the profession that you're going into, it definitely brings a different level of understanding for the sacrifices and work that those first responders, firefighters, police officers made that day.
But since that day, the death toll continues to rise.
More firefighters have lost their lives today to occupational cancer and illness from September 11th than the 343 that were killed on that day.
Over 2,100 rescue workers have died since the harrowing event. In Windsor Locks, Brittany Taylor, News 8.